Hello and welcome to the Lightline Podcast. I'm here with today's guest, Asher. Asher is the host of the LGBT podcast. A link will be provided in the description of the show notes. We're here today to talk about how being LGBT influences our mental health and ways we can prioritize self care as members of the queer community. So, if you want to go ahead and share your story and talk about well, you wanted to talk about your coming out story, right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's just something you brought up. So
So before I was trans, I think I came out bi and then lesbian. During that time, I can say I dated a couple of people. But I came out trans last year to my mom on like a little piece of paper that we got from work. I think it was like an art thing that I got from work. And she figured I was trans. So I came out to her, and I can say for the most part, she supported me. Before the surgery, I came out to my other family who I don't really see because they're not in Georgia through our Facebook group, and my nephew kind of already knew I was trans because I have a circle water bottle that had trans sticker, like it had like the trans stickers all over it for the most part, and then stickers from my job at the time. And so everything was pretty fine coming out until I got my top surgery. And then my mom, in a way, disowned me and then decided, you're still my child at the end of the day. So decided that they're going to support me as a guy. So it's been a journey. My dad does know I'm trans. My dad's wife knows that I'm trans. So everybody has kind of taken it differently.
okay, I'm glad that they've come around with being more supportive, at least.
Yeah, I'm glad to.
Yeah. So, how would you say that being LGBT influences your mental health?
I can say that it definitely influences my mental health. Because I have been in a few LGBT groups where you have some people who, are in the trans community, are they queer, non-binary, and sometimes you get that judgment. I got the judgment from one guy, who I'm not going to name, but the guy wasn't really the world's nicest guy. He was really rude. I think I posted a photo of my chest, and he made a remark in the actual group. And so it's affected me in good ways and bad ways. I think the good ways is I have a community when I'm having a bad day. There's a such thing as counselors who are LGBTQ, which I think is important for mental health. Um, the bad way I will say is the way I get treated by two of my family members that I live with. It's been a roller coaster living with them. Because you get the name, well, how do you say it? The dead name, because I have a dead name, and then I have my old gender, and unfortunately, they call me my old gender. So mental health, it's been kind of both for me in a way, being trans for me.
Yeah. Have you found that people are more respectful of your identity the further you get in your transition? That's kind of something that I've found with myself.
Yeah, they have been. I will admit, when I first got the surgery, I was like, "Oh, here we go. This is up to be a really bad journey going out." Going out in person, but it wasn't bad. Because I was on testosterone before I did the top surgery, my voice has deepened into a guy's voice. So I was already being called a guy. And so I get called sir. I get acknowledged as a guy, which I can say the public does it more than my family, but you just got to take what you can take, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't really assume that everybody's going to be accepting. So I just kind of took it as okay, I've been accepted by somebody or a few people.
So, how do you personally prioritize self care as a queer person, especially in those instances where you might encounter someone being transphobic or doing something with malicious intention? How do you recover from that? What?
So when it,
Sorry.
um, I guess when it comes to me being trans, because I'm not exactly queer, um, but I've been around queer people. I've been around non-binary people. But for me, I kind of have my own outlet. I do draw. Um, I do my podcast as well. My podcast has been a little bit neglected because of doing college and getting ready to go to my college. But I do gaming, so I stream on Twitch. I record videos on YouTube. I recently was able to go live on TikTok. So my plan is I think I can record on TikTok and go live on TikTok when I'm streaming. But I kind of have gaming and like drawing as my main two outlets, and then I have working out to keep me in shape because testosterone can mess up your weight. You can either gain weight or you can lose weight. So I've been working out to kind of balance my weight.
Yeah, that's good. Those all sound like super healthy things. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the LGBT community as a whole is supportive of you?
Um. Yes and no. Um. I'm in different LGBT groups. Discord, I'm in like two or three. I do have my own group that I made. And then I'm in groups in Facebook. And the groups in Facebook, I will say, are mainly supportive. But you do have the people who I don't want to call nitpick at you, but if they don't like you or they don't like people who are trans, they'll say comments that might rub somebody the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've had to deal with that in for groups. In the group that I'm currently in, that guy was in, I think he got told out by other trans people. I think when he picked on me, people was like, yeah, that's not okay. I think he backed down, but I'm still in the group because most of them we can like chat all day. Like if we're awake at 1 a.m., we'll literally just say, hey, who's awake? And we'll just chat until we go to sleep.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you have any advice that you would give to a baby queer, um, someone just discovering that they're in the community and maybe that's impacting their mental health as they're trying to sort that out? I know it did for me for a long while. It took like a solid year of mental work to come to terms with being transgender.
I think my advice would be not everybody's gonna accept you. It doesn't matter what you are in the LGBT community. I can definitely say that for sure. You're gonna have some people who are just like, "Oh, I support you," and you might have family members. You might have half your family members who are like, "Oh, I support you." You might have the other half who are like, "This isn't right." Um, and sometimes you just gotta cut the negative people out of your life.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I'm planning to do that with some of my family members because I'm in the process of name change. So my name isn't legally changed right now, but most people, if you see me on Facebook, Insta, like on my social media, you won't see my old name. You'll see either Asher or Ash. Um, and it's just on purpose because I did that with my Twitch. I think my Twitch was Asher before Facebook, but I'll say, find your support groups. I have found a few through resources. I went through a company that actually helped me find one that is for, especially if you're Black, African American. They have some support groups for you that are like free, um, that are weekly. And the one I attend is every Friday, and it's for people of color. So if you're somebody of color and you can't find a support group, I will say this: it is very hard to find a people of color support group. If you're trans, queer, it is hard. If you're not, it's a little bit easier. But I found that finding my support group has been something that has helped with mental health, especially if you're going through mental health issues, depression, anxiety. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I deal with those two things daily. And so I found a counselor who was LGBTQ. They're trans. He was a female, he's a male. So you just got to find your support groups and then reach out to your friends. I mean, friends won't. There might be a friend that might let you down who may not understand what it means to be queer. They may not understand what it means to be trans. They may not know these terms, but you could teach them. My friends understood because the campus I came from, I can say, was safe for me. I didn't come out on campus. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's all very good advice.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to promote, like, or share about yourself, your story, um, resources that the audience might find interesting? I'm open to anything really.
Let me see. I know there's Plum. So I know Plum is not. I believe Plum is not in every state. I think it really depends. There are certain insurances that they take. Aetna, if you have Aetna, they accept that. I think there's a few others that they accept. And if you're new to transitioning, I think this June to the end of this month, they have a 35% off. So I think you pay like $32 or less monthly for this month. As well as there are companies like Trans Social, and they have resources for housing for people who need help with name change, as well as support groups. And I actually recently contacted them about support groups, and they actually will provide you like a list of support groups. Let's see. There's also Queer Med. Um, that is based off your insurance, so I think you do pay a copay. I think it depends on how much for your insurance.
Mm.
But they're also, I think the only difference between them and Plum is Plum offers the support groups. They do not have QueerMed doesn't have support groups, but they have doctors who can prescribe you medication. They're like Plum where you meet them online. And let's say you move to a different state, they're very flexible, so they'll find somebody who's in the state that you're going to. So I'm going to New Hampshire. They already set me up with a new person for New
Oh, cool.
Hampshire. Um, but that's probably like one of the few resources you can do. Sometimes depending on what state you live in, I can say this. You might find I don't know the wording for it, but it's LGBT centers, I believe is the term. And I think some states have it, some states don't have it. What is this? But yeah, that's kind of the resources I used. I'm in the people of color group. I think that is by somebody else. Um, and they're pretty good. They meet weekly. So like if you find a support group, I would say most likely they meet weekly. I think that's how Plum works too. They meet weekly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the resources I kind of have. Um, and I can say for surgery, there are sites you can use. There's groups you can find. The group that I'm in, we somebody asked me about a surgeon in Georgia. The one that I went to, I was actually told by somebody else. So the best thing you can do really is if you're thinking about surgery, definitely check out some groups and go from there. Or ask people, hey, is there a surgeon in Texas? Is there a surgeon, in any state? And most of the time, your insurance has it. I know Aetna has it. I can't confirm if other insurances have a list for that. But I know for me, I was able to find a surgeon pretty fast because Aetna provides you a list of surgeons for both bottom and top surgery.
Oh, they actually cover bottom surgery for some people.
So Aetna's picky. I've had other insurances. I can say my other insurances, I didn't use them for surgeries. But Aetna, I think they cover a certain percentage,
Okay.
but you're gonna have the rest. You have to pay out of pocket. Um, and I'll say without insurance, we know how expensive it is. It can
Yeah,
be
it's
up what
not cheap.
10K higher. Yeah. Luckily, my insurance paid I think half of it, or a little bit more than half. I still owe what I need to owe, but if you have insurance and they say that they don't pay at all, I know some people don't save money, but save like as much money as you can because you're probably going to have to pay for the recovery supplies. And I can't say that with every surgeon. Um, but some surgeons provide what you need, the basics, but you're going to have to probably provide yourself with, I think it's the pillow, the pregnancy pillow, I believe is what they call it. So because you can't lay on your stomach or your side, but they have things like that. But Aetna, for the most part, paid it. I have my share, which is not a big chunk,
Did they let you do a
but
payment plan?
yeah, so you can do a payment plan. I have yet to pay it off. I actually have a GoFundMe. Like, I think I redid my GoFundMe with help. I paid somebody to kind of help me do a video, which is on my YouTube. But you can definitely do a GoFundMe. There's also what's that resource? Mm, there are a few companies that are LGBTQ that they'll give you a grant to help pay for your surgery. Like they'll give you the money to pay for your surgery. You're not guaranteed, but you have that as an option. But Aetna's not that bad. I use Aetna because I couldn't use my second insurance.
Yeah, send me the link to your GoFundMe and I can promote it for you.
Yeah, I'll do that. The resources I have for the most part. There's probably more that I just don't know about. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that helps for anybody who's new. Um, because surgery, it really depends on your insurance, like I said. But Aetna is the most simple because you can go on their website, or if you can't find it on their website, I called and they told me where to go to find the gender. I think it's called gender affirming like list. So it has surgeons, phone numbers, locations. And if you're in Georgia, I do want to say this. If you're in Georgia, there are no bottom surgeons. There's
Hmm.
none.
Did you find that your mental health got better after you got top surgery? Like, did that helped tremendously?
It helped. Yeah, it definitely helped. I tried doing chest binders. I know a lot of people have tried it. My size of my chest was too big for any chest binder. I even went through a company that I don't know their actual name, but I sent a link to one of my friends who needed a chest binder. But they're very great. So I think they have you measure your chest and they send you a free chest binder.
Oh, nice.
Chest binders, I can admit. I tried wearing shirts that you can say were a little bit bigger than me,
Hmm.
and it didn't work. And I just started going shirtless, and that's how I knew I wanted the surgery. Because I would wake up and be like, I really don't want these on my chest.
Yeah.
So going to the surgery, I think it was 2 weeks before the surgery. Because they asked me what day I want to do it. I said soon as possible. I bought a long sleeve shirt, and when I was finally able to wear a shirt, I felt like I was able to be myself, even with my family being the non-accepting factor. Because my mom didn't know I had the surgery. Or no, my mom knew I had the surgery, but no other family members were ever told the day of.
Oh, wow.
So the only person who knew was my mom. My dad knew I was going. I needed money to get to the hospital. So I told him I needed it for surgery. He didn't ask any questions. He sent it. So for me, my mom was the only one who knew. I kept it that way because I didn't want any judgment of, oh, why are you doing the surgery? Things like that.
Yeah, and like the invasive questions.
Right. So I just went ahead with it. My mom was shocked that the day I left for surgery, my mom was very shocked. Um, and I can say if you're doing surgery, it's an in and out. Like it's a outpatient. So you go in and then you leave the same day unless you have complications. But I believe with top surgery, there's not that many complications other than if you do like a nipple graft, I believe there's a chance of you losing that. But other than that, it was pretty good. I woke up, I was groggy and nauseous. That's truly how I felt that day when I woke up.
I woke up
Um,
in
yeah.
excruciating pain, and I don't know if that was like a mistake on the my care team's part, but
God,
it was rough.
I think they gave me pain meds because when I woke up, I think I was in some pain, but I was nauseous. I was like, okay, but I was hungry too, so I was
Uh,
like, okay, I can do both. I can eat, so um, I
yeah,
kind of felt like a mommy when I woke up because the way that they do the surgery in their chest. But I mean, the recovery wasn't bad. Um, I didn't end up getting kicked out by my mom, which she could have been more supportive with the surgery. But I recovered pretty fast. I'm still recovering. I'm not even a year yet.
oh,
I'm like 8 months.
okay.
So I can't say I'm 100% healed, but I'm free to do as soon as I got to the mark to where I was able to recover more. I didn't have to wear the binder. I had to use a certain type of cream for my nipples because you don't want them falling off. And I do that for my scars, I believe too. But it wasn't bad. Like I said, I'm not fully recovered, and if you're looking to get the surgery, don't expect to be able to do everything once, you're out of that binder because you will not be able to.
Yeah, once I got some pain meds in me, it was definitely, and then it switched to just being like unbearably itchy.
Oh my god, I felt that and I was just like, "Oh." I was like, "This feels terrible." I
Yeah.
mean, they offered me pain meds, but I turned it down because the pain meds there, like, they wanted me to get were like opiates, like very strong ones I get addicted to. I was like, "I'm good. I'm already on medication for different things."
That's valid.
Yeah, I'm on like 2, 3, well, testosterone's the 3rd medication. The EpiPen's more of if I eat something I'm not supposed to. But I'm like, my carbamazepine is so sensitive to my sertraline that, like, I think I took them at the same time once. That messed me up.
Oh no.
So I have to separate those 2 medications from each other. So when I take it during the day, the sertraline has to come first. Um, and that was without it. I just got a refill. I'm not even kidding. My original primary doctor, I don't call him a quack, but he's a quack. He refused my referral. So I was like, I need a refill. This dude was like, no, you gotta come in person. I was like, you're in downtown Atlanta. You're where my surgeon is. So I think my surgeon's in downtown. He moved farther into downtown. But I'm like, I can't see you in person. So I had to go without that medication. My seizure medication, I had to go without.
Oh damn.
Um, so I did not want to do pain meds because I can't say I was in pain. Um, I'm not a back sleeper. I don't
Mm.
ever sleep on my back. I don't think I ever have. I think I've slept on my back for like 5 seconds, but tend to sleep on my tummy sometimes and my sides. So it was so uncomfortable to just lay flat on your back the whole time.
Yeah, jeez.
But yeah, I didn't do any pain meds. I don't think I was in pain. I think I was more uncomfortable not being able to really do what I could do.
Itchy.
Right, and I was itchy, and then I had a gecko, too, that I take care of. And so, unfortunately, with my gecko, I'm the only one who can clean the tank. So I think before I had the surgery, the beginning of September, because I got my surgery in the middle of September, I clean the tank at the first of every month. So that way, while I was recovering, I wasn't able to do much. But luckily, my nephew, he loves reptiles. I'm not even kidding. He offered, to feed the gecko. I was like, that helps because you can't lift anything.
Mm. Yeah.
I couldn't shower, it didn't bother me that I was unable to shower because I found wipes that are unscented and safe for people with sensitive skin. But once I was able to like take showers, oh, I took long showers after that. I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But
I
yeah, recovery's not bad for the most part. I think it depends on how fast you recover, but also you can't really smoke or vape.
mm.
And I gave that away since my first college when I left my first college. But yeah, you gotta be careful with vaping. I know it's what they warned me. Vaping, smoking, you can't do it.
Yeah, not before surgery and
You gotta
not while
quit,
you're
basically.
healing
Yeah.
either.
Yes, I mean I heal pretty fast, but I know from what I've been told, it depends on their body.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how it is. It helped me like with mental for the most part. I had counseling before I got the surgery. Though my counselor at the time wasn't really didn't think I was ready for the surgery, they wrote the letter anyway, so it's okay.
I went through a couple different counselors as I was getting ready for top surgery. I think I at the time was using BetterHelp, which it was good but expensive. So I ended up quitting that because of the cost.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're
I think I may
decent.
have had them once. I've gone through multiple counselors too. Although two of them were like LGBTQ. I do know that
Yeah.
factor.
So like if you have the money for that, then that's good and it's a good resource for you. But not everyone has is willing
Right.
to pay for therapy. Sometimes you can find
Right.
insurance that covers it or places that do sliding scale.
I think it depends too. I know Plum doesn't offer counseling, but I know the support groups are kind of just like they have events too. So I mean, it really depends. But I think one of my counselors was trans. The other one, I believe she was like lesbian or something. So it was kind of cool to find a counselor that was in the community. Because my first one, she wasn't trans, and it was like talking to a wall.
Oh,
But she wrote my letter, even though I wasn't ready. So she was very sweet. I think she moved out of the U.S. to somewhere else because she has adult kids. But yeah, no, it counseling. You gotta find the right counselor.
yeah, don't be
Um,
afraid to
your
therapist shop.
copay is probably right, and your copay, the highest it could be is like 50. Um, the highest it can be is like in the 100s. But the lowest probably like 30, maybe 50. So I think 50 is for mines right now. But yeah, before you do it, you just have to make sure you're stable mentally for the surgery.
I'd recommend calling around and asking if places do sliding scale. That's what I did, and it's usually based on income, so they're willing to be pretty flexible with you.
See, if I knew that, that would have saved me like these $50 or $100 I paid for every session because I spent a lot. Because I didn't even know there was such thing as a sliding scale because I was working. Um, but the job I was working was like 12.50. I'm not even joking. We worked with kids from like 5 to middle school. So I was making less than I was making almost 1,000. But also I paid for my insurance, so that's another thing.
Yeah, I'm currently without insurance right now, and it's a struggle.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be moving to New Hampshire in August, and I have an insurance that is useless, but it's great for free items for points. And then Aetna's the only one I can use for counseling. My other one is Ambetter, but apparently Ambetter, nobody uses it ever. I didn't know that. So I'm kind of keeping it. Um, but I know finding if you don't have insurance and you're trying to get surgery, I don't know how to help you with that
Yeah, you're out of luck in that case.
because it's a cost, even if you do payments. Because I think it depends on your surgeon, and even though it's in and out, I think you have to pay for.
For top
Um,
surgery, yeah. I don't know about
yeah,
bottom surgery.
I know bottom isn't. I want to get bottom. But I know bottom. There's only two options for bottom. There's fallow and metaplasty. I know the fallow is where they have to take a skin graft of your thigh or arm, which I was like, I'm not doing that. But thank you. But yeah, I think bottom surgery might be the same. But I think bottom surgery might be more expensive
Oh yeah, for sure.
because I'm looking to get it done, but I can't. I have to go out of state to do it. That's kind of all I have for mental health. My mental health has always been up and down. I can say probably since middle school, but I think it was due to me probably being like down low, being trans. So I didn't really say anything.
Mm. Yeah, I went through a long episode of gender dysphoria, like depression, because I was constantly questioning myself, trying to figure out if this is really what I want to do with my life. And that took a mental strain on me. um, when I figured when I figured out where I belonged in the community and kind of settled into it a bit, then that eased up.
No, that makes sense though. Because I know a lot of people come out later because they don't want to come out when they're in like school, and I get it. Though I mean, I could have came out younger. I probably could have, but also I don't think I would have been able to get the surgery when I was in college because I was vaping at that time,
Mm.
probably like every single day. A friend got me to vape. My friend took me to a vape shop. Was like, "Do you want to get a vape?" And I bought one.
Yeah, I'm addicted to vapes too.
So I haven't picked it up since I left the college.
Good for you.
I just had bad experience with friends. I thought, well, I can't say it was all bad. I have a few people who are like my best friends, but I'm just like that's kind of as close as we get. But I was drinking while I was underage drinking, but my college did not care.
Oh wow.
They allowed people to drink and smoke on campus because it was like we lived in apartment complexes. But yeah, we kind of got away with it. I did hookah, so there's no way they probably would allow me to have surgery. I'd have to quit. And during that time, I turned to vaping as an outlet,
Mhm.
which I'm not gonna say is a good idea.
I use it as a stim for me. It's a form of sensory seeking.
I use it as a stress thing. Um, because I went from Georgia to Florida, which you wouldn't think is that bad. Um, until you went to the college I went to, and then that explains it all in a word. Um, I have learning disabilities, and they did not help me, so I struggled at that college. And I think I dealt with seizures back then.
Oof.
Um, I refused to see a doctor for that, but I saw a doctor for my knee, so it just kind
Damn.
of shows what I didn't think was important during the time, which apparently was my seizures, which turned out to be epilepsy. So that was not a good thing. When I found that out at my second college,
I have non-epileptic seizures. They've
oh no,
actually
that's what my college thought. I got my college tried to self-diagnose me.
really.
I think it's the one that you have. Is that's what they thought I had? I was like, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but wrong one.
Yeah,
Because
I
I was,
mean, any
it's
kind of
bad.
seizure is not good.
No, I mean, I end up in the ER. Um, I've never been in the ambulance until I went to college. Apparently I was seizing and I just didn't stop. My friend called the what is it? The RD, resident director. Um, and then they called an ambulance. That was like my first time. They're like, "Do you have epilepsy?" I was like, "I don't know." But yeah, so that's the first time that word was kind of thrown around. From then, I had to be put on medication. They do those stupid little tests where they put the things in your head. They did that to me, and
Hmm.
that's how they found out actually.
Did the medication
But I
help?
didn't. Uh, it helped, yeah. Um, I was on a lower dosage, and so my neuro doctor, who was in Vermont during that time, um, was like, we can up it, so we upped it. So I've been taking for the last couple of months since last year. I have to take two every single day, plus my other medication, and then plus the testosterone. But the testosterone gets done on a Monday.
Hmm.
And I do that in my stomach. I used to do shots in my thigh. It was not the experience I wanted.
I do thigh. It's okay. I do sub Q, not intramuscular. So I don't know. That makes a difference, really.
I feel like I was limited with the thigh, but also I feel like with the stomach you're limited because you can't hit the area twice. You got to let it heal. Um, and my stomach is it's in the healing process, so I normally have to go back and forth. I probably have to get numbing cream. I think that's what they somebody said you can get to help with it. But most of the time, I can't feel when the needle goes in.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't do the gel, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
some people do the gel.
I tried the
I
gel.
Yeah, I sweat a lot. I don't know how well that's gonna go. Um, I thought about it, and I also heard there's like a pill option, but I heard there's no research on it, which I get. That's why I decided to opt out of that. I do the shots, but I don't pay for the needles and the syringes and the alcohol pads I buy myself.
Yeah, I buy everything by myself.
Well, no, they offered it. They used to offer the needles, but and it was very cheap. But I was just like, yeah, I would rather just buy my own because I didn't have. I would run out very quickly. In the pack I have, so I have like a 100, was it no, 200 alcohol prep pads. Apparently I got the same company. It's a different color. And then I have two different companies for my other two, the syringes and needles. But also, if you get off of Amazon, you don't have to go back to the pharmacy and be like, I ran out.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of my experience being trans. Because I'm dating somebody who's like non-binary, which is it confuses me every single day. But I don't know.
What specifically confuses you?
Um, they have body dysphoria, and I feel so bad that they have that with their body. Um, I don't want to call them negative Nancy, but they're negative Nancy at that point.
Yeah,
They post,
dysphoria will do that to you.
yeah, and they post things on Facebook saying I'm depressed. I'm like, and I'm just like, then they have a counselor. I'm like, you really just go see your counselor. Just get off of social media. Um, guaranteed. I use social media to promote. I have a YouTube group on my Facebook. I also have friends who live up north, so I use my Facebook for different things. But I'm just like doesn't like their body. We've been dating since last year, end of last year. So you can imagine that's like a long time.
Mm,
Um, and they kind of supported me when I said I wanted to have the surgery.
good.
And so I don't really know I want to do the bottom surgery. I think bottom surgery, I know where I want to go, and I have to travel up north for it. But yeah, no, I'm dating them. I went to this cool event. It's like a rainbow market. It was like a pride event.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've never seen so many like like people in the LGBT community in Georgia. I was like, that's insane.
Mm.
Because I can't go to the pride thing and the pride event in Georgia because I want it's always October. I don't know what it is. Why it's in October for Georgia. But yeah, my dating experience has been interesting because Lexi's the only non-binary person I've dated.
I have one non-binary partner and one agender partner.
I think the
Um,
other person I think likes me. I think they're bi, but I don't think I'm into them. I think they're more into me. Plus, they want to move to the U.S. for me. I'm not even joking. I was like, okay,
oh, damn.
like yeah, that's good. Go ahead. I won't be in Georgia, but I mean, you can move. So I think that's get a visa. They made me meet. I had to meet. I met his entire family on a face call. I know Let's See is a little bit different. Let's See's in a situation, a living situation where they live, their parents are their landlord. I'm not even joking. I was like, I can't.
All right, we're getting a little bit off topic, so I think it's probably about time for us to wrap things up. Was there anything else that you wanted to share?
That's it for me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right.